Sorry about that. I was just stretching. Sup, you chuckle fucks? It's your boy, Dark here with What If Issei had the power of Dragon and Shadow Monarchs. Part mostly, 2 of mostly the redo from, mostly not the original story, but mostly the other story that I've been doing. But not the point. Let me begin into this What If. Let me shut the fuck up. I did fall asleep like for 2 hours because I didn't really need to do anything. Well, except go cut someone's except go cut someone's grass, which I'm gonna do that later when the sun isn't hitting me in the face. But that's not the point. It'd be easier to cut the grass later, but not the point. Also, what else am I gonna mention? Oh yes, I forgot to mention. So like I did do like another redo yesterday, mostly for the kind of the Kami no Mi, meaning the God no Mi. Also, model. I will mention what the model is. I think I already did mention it with my tire ass self, but yeah. But other than that, I haven't really. What's it called? Not the point. Let me just begin into this water. Sorry, I am a little still too sleepy, but I managed to sleep it off. Maybe. Not the point. Let me begin. Okay. Sorry. So we begin into mostly Issei Haidu, also known as the somewhat Red Dragon Emperor. So I should mention one thing. He does have the Red Dragon Emperor. Like I did mention last time, but I guess someone didn't actually pay attention too much. She is mostly the Red Dragon Emperor is not going to be a guy. It's actually a girl. So she is the Red Dragon Empress, which mostly is Issei, but Issei's a dude in this one. But of course, the dragon inside him is actually a female, not a dude. But Issei is a dude. So yeah, Issei is considered to be the Red Dragon Emperor since he's the host of mostly D-Drake, also known as mostly Aika. So her real name is Aika. Just means red, but I mean not red, red much. But yeah. So not the point. Let me begin into this what if. I wanted to mention that because someone will probably think that Issei is actually a female, and no, he's actually a dude. Not the point. Let me begin into this what if. Let me shut the fuck up. So yeah, I should also mention before I actually get into this what if, all the what ifs that I do and mostly my whole channel is not fanfics. I don't know why people keep asking for fanfic links when clearly I fuck up in so many words. Not because I can't fucking read, which maybe that's the case, but this literally all my fucking what ifs are just from my mind. If you can find a link to my mind, then good luck with that. But literally, that's just my fucking brain. Just random thoughts I usually have kind of make up to be a story, but that's not the point. Literally, I have no links, no nothing. I write sometimes. I do sometimes do fanfics, but I don't like read them out loud. I don't go get someone else's fanfics to read them because I don't really want to do that. Besides disrespect to the creator most of the time. That's how I see it most of the time. I rather read my own fanfics on Webpad because I do have fanfics. I have 3 of them that I still haven't written. One of them has actually quite written the story. It's just only like 3 parts. The other 2 are basically, I guess you can just say, either bio or someone's story, but not the point. I'm not gonna be ever reading fanfics, even if people kind of ask me to do them. I'm not gonna read them. Go fucking look someone else to kind of read them because mostly those are robots that usually do that, and I can see why people usually use the robot voice because it's quite too tiring most of the time. Just kind of keep up and where the fuck you're reading at. Because sometimes when I'm reading a fucking fanfic, I lose where the fuck I'm at. It literally take my ass 20 minutes just to go find where the fuck I'm at, and somehow I got lost even more. So no, I'm never gonna read a fanfic unless it's my own fanfic, which I probably have like the original kind of, mostly written one where it's kind of like highlights and other stuff, just so I can not get lost track. So yeah, I might do that, but not the point. Sorry, I'm rambling on right now. So let me begin into this what if. Let me shut the fuck up. So yeah. No fanfics here. Go fuck off. But yeah, we go into a kind of, mostly a day with mostly Issei's parents and Issei himself kind of going just mostly having fun. Issei hasn't really had fun for mostly a year after mostly having to become the Shadow and Dragon Monarchs kind of vessel, at the same time become the host entirely, but mostly having to fight creatures of like they are fucking high ranks, like either special grade demon levels, mostly like that kind of special, or even higher to that being like dragon god power level. But mostly he doesn't really mind kind of having fun with his family because it's been a while. Now, we go into Issei kind of, well, walking with his family, mostly through kind of, well, just walking around with them towards mostly like there was a carnival kind of happening and Issei was with them, kind of having fun. This is where, well, his mother was kind of hoping that, well, one day they will be here, but it's like grandparents and having their own grandchildren kind of like playing with them in the carnival. They really wish to have that, which Issei can literally read minds, and of course he just, yeah, no. This is where, well, someone in Issei's head kind of laughs at mostly Issei's kind of parent act, well, mostly not acts, mostly parents' antics, and this is where, well, Issei sighs and says, no, Aika, don't. This is where Aika's just laughing and giggling, saying, wow, your parents really do want some grandchildren. Then again, you did kind of left them for 1 year, so I don't blame them that much. Issei sighs and says, whatever. Now, Issei's hair and mostly his eye color did make a lot of people in public turn their heads to see Issei because mostly his bright, mostly what's it called, reddish and purplish hair, and of course his eye color makes anyone just turn around to see at Issei. Being girl guy, literally they just kind of go, what the fuck? Mostly the girls kind of has heart in their eyes while the guys goes, huh? Huh? What? What the fuck am I looking at? But yeah. But that's not the point. We go into mostly Issei kind of just sighing because people keep looking at him, and of course he gets annoyed a little bit, so puts on his hood, mostly his bluish hood, because he is kind of wearing this kind of bluish kind of jacket. This is where, well, no one actually does go look at him anymore because he gets also his like black scarf to cover up his face, but of course his eyes are still kind of, well, they're being purple and red. But that's not the point here or there. Which he mostly closes one eye. That being the red one, so of course just to look at the purple crystal one. But yeah, it's a dark amethyst purple crystal one, so yeah. That kind of glows a bit to be brightened, but not much. Don't worry about that. This is where, well, mostly someone kind of talks towards Issei. Mostly no one else heard this, but mostly Issei himself. And that is none other than Beru. Beru says, my legion, why will you decide to, well, hide yourself from the world? Isn't it better to be looked by everyone in a maze instead of being hidden away from them? Issei switch up and says, Beru, no. This is where mostly Aika mostly kind of just laughs and dies in Issei's mind. That being what's it called, the Red Dragon Empress, and she's just dying the fact that, well, what's it called, Beru is just basically somewhat of a troll, but not much. This is where, well, not really trying to be a troll, but just kind of concerned for his legion. But yeah, Issei says, no, no, shut up, you two. This is where, well, Issei sighs, trying to just like not listen to them. He does put on music, so of course just to shut them up, both of them, even if he can't, but entirely he just, nah. But yeah, this is where, well, we go into mostly Issei and his parents just keep walking around, kind of going on some of the rides. Issei isn't amused in too much of these rides, but of course he does smile so much so his parents doesn't look at him just kind of confused with mostly some of the rides that Issei rides, like either roller coaster or any of that. He's kind of showing a blank emotionless face somewhat, but that's because mostly this shit isn't too fast for him. He has had to go in much faster things, literally like summoning out his dragon to fly faster, or even go at the same speed of light. But yeah, but that's not the point here or there. But mostly Issei, he's similar to that of like Sanjay Woo from what's it called, Solo Leveling, where mostly he did go on a, well, carnival without his parents but with his date, and they basically just didn't seem amused too much. Which Issei is like that. Issei doesn't seem too amused. Even though he did go on a carnival ride one time with his parents when he was younger, but he was too scared. So of course, that's just like, meh. He didn't ever want to go back on. And now that he's older, he just doesn't seem to care too much. Of course, he smiles so his parents doesn't seem kind of saddened on Issei's change, but yeah. Now, of course, we go into mostly Issei's parents kind of getting back home. Of course, Issei's parents are a little bit too old to go on like those type of rides, but still, they're kind of happy to bring Issei back one more time. Because when he was a child, like being younger, he was really scared of going to roller coasters. Now, when he's older, he seems amused, kind of, but not much. This is where, well, both of his parents said go back into their bedrooms and just tell Issei good night and other stuff. Of course, they did kind of eat, and of course, Issei did eat some of the food in the carnival. So, yeah. But we go into mostly Issei kind of getting into his room. He kind of goes on his bed, and this is where he decides to take a, well, nap. Even though he doesn't really need to take a nap that much, he decides to do it anyway. He goes mostly into a dream. This is where, well, mostly into a dream. It's not mostly about Opie or any of that, but he sees mostly a girl that he's interested a lot. That being the girl that mostly he's seen in what's it called, his school, being Junko Nishima. Of course, where, well, his dream just wanted to tease her most of the time, and of course, where Aika just appeared out of nowhere, burning down the dream. This is where he says, "You mother!" This is where, well, Aika was just giggling at the fact what she was doing, but yeah. He sighs in annoyance, but this is where, well, he decides to just disappear from his dream because he woke up in an instant, realizing it's already kind of 7 o'clock. Issei gets to kind of wear his clothing again, mostly not the same clothing like yesterday, because yesterday was the same day as going to school for the first time in a long time, but this is where he changed his kind of clothing style. He's now wearing a grayish kind of mostly button-up shirt with kind of wearing a coat over him. Well, it's not a coat, it's mostly a jacket. Kind of a zip-up jacket, but he has it unzipped right now. This is where, well, he's wearing kind of black pants, black dressing pants, and this is where black kind of dressing shoes. That's where, well, he gets his hair kind of like pushed to the back, just so that's mostly his like regular kind of style, having his hair kind of pushed to the back instead of having his bangs like over his face too much. But yeah, this is where, well, Issei kind of is like getting downstairs. He thinks that his parents are still asleep, which they are. And Issei just leaves a note saying that he'll be kind of going to school now. He doesn't really need to eat too much, but yeah, you don't need to. Not the point. Let me go back into water. But yeah, this is where, well, we go into Issei kind of, well, getting towards school. He gets to school pretty fast. He actually leaves a shadow like on top of one of the roofs near the school. And of course, there's a shadow change. Not go in the school, like fully it's in there, but it's mostly kind of like near one of the buildings from mostly Kuo. But this is where, well, he kind of shadow change just so he can actually get to school faster. He jumps down, and this is where he lands down pretty easily in the, what's it called, alleyway. This is where, well, he didn't notice this, but, well, he did notice this, and when he turns around, he noticed what's it called. He noticed what's it called, well, a girl kind of almost getting molested by like 5 dudes. This girl kind of had brownish hair, and of course, like brownish, messy hair. This is where she kind of had glasses, but her glasses are on the ground, and she had hazelish eyes. She right now had this kind of angry look, vicious look at mostly at the 5 people, and the 5 people says, "You're gonna be delicious." This is where before he can even do anything, Issei appears right in front of what's it called, the girl, well behind her, and before the guy can even notice, thinking it must be one of his other friends. But this is where, well, before he, well, not really behind him, but mostly like next to him. And this is where, well, before he can even turn to the side, he gets his head grabbed onto and mostly smashed to the ground in front of the girl. But this is where the girl widened her eyes. When she looked up, she sees someone with mostly kind of rainbowish kind of hair, being that of red and purplish. His eyes are kind of burning in fury. One dark purple amethyst eye, while the other one is a scarlet ruby red eye. This is where, well, he says, "You bastards are such pathetic for daring to touch a girl." This is where, well, the other kind of like 4 dudes right now rush at Issei. One pulls out a katana, but Issei grabs the katana, snaps it in an instant. Like, he just catches that shit and snaps it. This is where, well, the guy goes, Another guy pulls out a knife and tries to stab Issei. When it stabs onto Issei's chest, it literally just, it breaks. This is where the guy says, "What the fuck are you?" This is where, well, Issei said, "Me? You wanna know what I am? I'm deaf." Issei right now kind of shows what sends a bit of bloodlust, and this is where he activates something called Death's Touch. This is where all of them felt it, and right now falls down to their knees, right now looking at straight up death. This is where, well, Issei said, "Now piss off." This is where, well, Issei looks at them with an uncaring look of expression. This is where all of them kind of just gets up, run away, even though their pants are all pee. They all kind of piss themselves at the same time. One of them might have shit himself, and they all fucking ran. Of course, this is where that guy that had his face kind of smashed into the ground was kicked out of the way by Issei. And this is where Issei looks down and said, this is where he grabs the glasses in an instant, using a bit of telekinesis just to grab it and kind of like giving it towards most of the girl. This is where her name is none other than Aika Kiryu. And this is where, well, Aika Kiryu says, that's your... This is where, well, she stutters out, and this is where, well, Issei says, hey, Aika Kiryu, it's been a while. Didn't know the perverted girl actually looks pretty good under her, under her clothing. This is where Issei said in such a teasing tone. And of course, mostly, well, kind of an uncaring but teasing tone at the same time. Because she kind of had her clothes a little bit ripped, showing mostly her kind of cleavage. And of course, mostly showing a little bit of her panties. And this is where, well, Kiryu right now, face just turns crimsonly red. Right now, kind of being told by a used to be pervert, but at the same time, now became just glow up as hell. Getting rizzed up a little bit by this man. And this is where, well, she blushes and instant looking away. She then says, pervert. Issei says, wow, so ironic coming from the girl who used to be the perverted glasses girl. Or probably still are. This is where, well, Aika just glares at him and just looks away. And this is where, well, Issei chuckles and says, well, I should be going to school. But first, Issei turns around and uses a bit of magic to repair her clothes in an instant. This is where, well, also is kind of destroying one of the, well, not destroying a spell, mostly kind of hiding her kind of magical spell, because mostly she kind of wears, wears some baggy clothes that mostly kind of shows that she's not that big from her chest or mostly from her back. But it's not just because of the clothes, but a bit of magic, so it kind of looks like she's just a normal kind of like average height, or mostly less of average, but yeah. This is where, well, she widened her eyes and can't believe Issei used magic. But then again, he was the one who actually defeated Kokobel, because she remembers seeing that. Thanks to mostly an ant appear behind him, literally destroys Kokobel in an instant, without a care in the world, and literally ate the wings and probably some of the arms and didn't care. This is where Issei had mostly a uncaring expression in what Beru did towards Kokobel. This is where, well, Aika tries to get up, and this is where Issei is. Well, not Issei. This is where she says, Issei, can I talk to you? This is where Issei says, hell no. This is where Aika goes, wait. This is where, well, Issei disappears from mostly her sight, and this is where she says, damn it. This is where, well, we go into Issei getting to school. Now, of course, we go into first hour, and he is waiting. Waiting with a very amusement kind of smile on his face. A girl actually appears in front of his desk, but it's not actually Junko, which he was hoping for. Instead, it's actually someone named, Akano Hinjima. This is where, well, Akano Hinjima says, hello there, Issei-kun. This is where a bunch of guys kind of glare at Issei with murderous looks, and girls kind of just glare at Akano with mostly jealous looks. This is where Issei looks at her with an uncaring expression, and this is where, well, Akano says, may you come with me towards the occult research club? This is where, well, mostly Issei said in a lower tone voice, for a damn devil king to try to resurrect me? Because not gonna lie, she touches me, she dies. I don't care. Issei said with uncaring, mostly emotionless voice. This is where Akano kind of flinches at mostly Issei's words, because mostly she was surprised to even believe that. Issei said, also, if you're wondering how I know this, is because you dumbasses can't even sense a bit of my shadow soldiers from infiltrating you guys. You guys are stupid. Not gonna lie. That's why Akano even flinches more, because, well, for her understanding so much, it's mostly Issei can control shadow soldiers. And for mostly their understanding, they can't really sense a shadow soldier's magic. Well, unless at one time, which is shown to be a quite powerful dental magic. The shadow soldier that he summoned out, that ant to literally slaughter Kokobel down. This is where nothing like basically an ant. He basically took mostly Kokobel not that serious. Really, he took Kokobel less serious than the other dude that he was fighting. But yeah. But that's not the point. This is where, well, Akano says, can you please go to... This is where Issei said loud enough, hell no. Issei says, stop bothering me. I do not really wish to join any club. Actually, I'd rather go home and go to sleep half the time. So please, for the love of all good known as God. Issei said literally the word God, which made Akano get a fucking headache. Now Issei knows the weakness of mostly devils, but yeah, he's not stupid. This is where, well, he says, now, can you please leave me alone? I do not intend to meet up with your club or any of that. I don't care. Really, research a cult club. I am not going just there to go fucking become a satanic cult leader, whatever the fuck it is. Truly, I don't care. Now leave me alone. Issei said with uncaring voice. Literally, he can care less about anyone. Does it work? Well, Akano decides to walk away because she can see literally Issei can care too damn less about devils and devils' needs. And he can also pretty much just care about less about anyone else if it's not himself or his family. So yeah, Akano kind of just walks away. She's kind of like getting back to the Occult Research Club and telling Rias. Now, of course, Rias is just surprised in how Issei just mentioned all that out. Instead of being quiet or anything, he literally mentioned it out so loud enough for everyone else to hear. Which she was thinking that Issei would keep it in the low, like keep it quiet. But then again, she did kind of send Akano, but she hasn't realized that she sent Akano to kind of go get Issei. Because mostly those spread up rumors about a lot of crap that Issei doesn't really want to deal with. Which Issei won't even need to deal with. Because when Junko comes, he's going to go tease her. He doesn't care about rumors or bullcrap that people need to send. But yeah, people were just surprised. Mostly all the male students, all the female students are surprised of Issei's come up. Mostly burst out loud kind of expression and what he meant about he doesn't really want to go with mostly Akano or any of that. But that is not the point here or there. We go into mostly Issei kind of getting out of class after kind of not seeing Junko, which kind of made his mood kind of a little bit more annoyed and damper a little bit. Which some bullies did try to fight against Issei because they were surprised that Issei kind of talked down to Akano henchmen and they're fans of her. And this is where, when they saw Issei, they tried to fight him, but this is where Issei was not in the mood for shit like this. Which literally, when they even tried to touch Issei looks at them with such a, mostly his reddish ruby eye looked at them, mostly from his corner of his eye. When mostly his red eye kind of like looked straight at their souls, they all felt this like very powerful presence. If they touch Issei, their hands would literally be ripped out of mostly their kind of, well, arms in an instinct. They just felt like death was actually upon them. Issei sent a bit of his bloodlust, but this time it's not from the death bloodlust, but from the dragon bloodlust. Issei said, fuck off. This is where Issei was already annoyed and pissed. The fact that he couldn't really tease mostly, well, the called Junko. And the fact that mostly Akano just pissed him off from the annoyment that was trying to really, well, piss him off. But yeah, this is where, well, the bullies decided to walk away from Issei because they were not trying to die. They felt like if they touched him, Issei would not hesitate to grab them from the throat and snap them like a goddamn twig. Issei sighs and decides to just keep walking. This is where, well, mostly, what's it called? We go into a time skip later on. It's now mostly the whole rest of the day is almost like over. And Issei has just been annoyed. The fact that Junko hasn't came the whole day. And the fact that this just annoyed him a little bit. He wants to just keep teasing her. And kind of a little bit teasing her. And actually wanting to see if he can actually get on mostly a basis with her. Because, well, Issei wouldn't mind going on a date with her. She's quite cute and actually quite something that he kind of likes a lot. This is where, well, Issei sighs. And this is where, well, mostly Aika in his head kind of says, so, it seems that girl didn't came today. Maybe because she was too embarrassed and too blushing. So you probably come the whole day from the fact that you've been actually doing that to her. So maybe that's the reason why she hasn't came. Issei sighs and says, fine, I'll lower down my not pervert antics, my what's called good looking antics because I really just wanted to keep teasing her. Fine, I'll lower that down. This is where, well, it's pretty much right now 5th hour, mostly 5th period, and of course Issei is kind of like working out somewhat. This is where, well, because it's gym, and this is where, well, one of the gym teachers says that he needs to go to the office, mostly of the president's account, oh, not president account, mostly the account, mostly the council kind of president room. This is where, well, Issei sighs and says, really, I do not want to be dealing with shit like this. Issei gets up after kind of mostly he works out alone, but mostly one of the gym teachers do have to keep an eye on him because well Issei works alone, and of course the gym teacher noticed how ripped Issei is. Like Issei is extremely ripped. Of course the work well Issei is sweating mostly his muscles are kind of sweating, and the teacher just says, "Hey, have you ever thought of joining any sport?" Issei looks at mostly the teacher and says, I was thinking of joining the track team. If you can give me a mostly a signed paper to go into the track team, I'll join. I'll be there, maybe." This is where Issei walks away, and this is where well the teacher says, "You know what? Fuck it. I do know that the track team is quite full. Mostly with his body and mostly how he he would be a great runner. Then again, This is where, well, we go into Issei getting to mostly the president's kind of room, being the council room, and this is where, well, Issei gets inside. This is where, well, he opens the door, kind of walks inside, and this is where he knocks at it, and this is where, well, someone said, "Come in." Issei, when he comes in, he sees Sona, her barrage, and Rias and her barrage. Issei looks at them with mostly an uncaring kind of look, and this is where, well, mostly Issei said, "What do you want?" When mostly Sona says, "Issei Haidu, do you know about the supernatural?" Issei says, "Oh, that one show from was it called America? I have heard of it. It's pretty good. Not gonna lie. Was it called The Stars?" This is where he goes on with the main character and says, "Ace, not gonna." So we go into mostly Issei seeing the Cult Research Club and other things. This is where Issei goes on with the whole supernatural bullcrap. They're just trying to just kind of bullcrap himself out of this place. This is where, well, all of them are just workshopping. Like, no, they weren't even talking about that whole crap, but yet, that happened. This is where, well, we go into mostly, them kind of just stopping Issei. This is where Sona just decided to grab Issei from the mouth and shut him up in an instant, which mostly she managed to reach, even though her kind of small kind of stature. Issei kind of looks down, and this is where, well, he can feel the soft hands, which he doesn't mind of what's it called. This is where, well, we go into mostly Issei kind of managed to kind of get her hands away from his mouth, and this is where Issei said, "Okay, what exactly do you people want exactly?" This is where Ria's questioned on Issei to kind of, well, become her kind of servant. Issei said, "What? No." Issei literally said, "Hell no," with mostly a capital H and a capital N. Hell no. This is where, well, mostly, Rias was surprised, and this is where she kind of questioned why not. Issei said, "Because it's clearly just slave, but with a fancy word of servant. So, no. What the fuck do you think I am? Your damn slave? Bitch, get the fuck out of here." This is where Issei can literally cuss and care less. Like, he can give too damn of a goddamn less about who exactly Rias is, because, well, he doesn't care. Rias kind of says, "No, a servant isn't a slave." This is where Issei said, "Okay, let's go find the difference of what the slave and the servant is. Okay, do I get paid?" This is where, well, Rhea says, "No, the slave doesn't get paid either." Wow, what an interesting world. This is where he says, "Say, do I have to wear random uniform that pretty much you gonna ask for?" Yes? Wow, sounds like a slave, doesn't it? Do I serve you every day? Probably whatever bullcrap I need to do, whatever assignments you need me to do. Yes? Wow, sounds like a slave, doesn't it? Issei literally says, well, basically an uncaring tone. And this is where, well, Rias kind of flinches at mostly the tone that Issei uses. He says, "Wow, I can't believe the difference of basically being a slave or a servant. Damn. What is this, the fucking 1800s in America? Wow, I'm not even dark-skinned. Look at that. Bruh." Issei literally just making fucking racist jokes and literally Issei doesn't care about any of this shit. This is where, well, mostly Rias kind of was mostly shutting up in an instant, and even what's it called, Sona seems surprised at how Issei is. He doesn't care. He seems to be actually understanding in a lot of bullcrap and understand what a servant and a slave is. There's no difference. There's literally no difference for mostly Issei. But yeah. But we go into mostly Issei kind of, well, mostly after that whole stuff kind of like mostly Issei kind of keep talking and mostly saying, oh, the difference of being a slave and a servant is literally zero. There is nothing different about it. Servant is just a fancy word for literally being a slave. This is where, well, Rias shuts up in an instant because there's no way to actually win this. This is where Kaneko kind of narrow her eyes because she can literally see her master becoming depressed and mostly kind of reminding herself about mostly the marriage between Riser and her. This is where, well, we'll see Kaneko says, if you do not, become a servant for the Grammary, I will fight you. What's it called, senpai? This is where, well, mostly Kaneko says. He says, really? You will fight me? Oh, that is quite interesting. Wow, why didn't you ever say that? Let me get one of my generals to fight all of you in an instant. And, I hope you guys are in the same level as that one dude from, what's it called? That kind of crow. If you guys are the same strength level, good luck, because I can probably summon more generals for you all to fight. This is where all of them shuts up in an instant, because Issei literally can just mention saying that he summoned out. Or not summon out. This is where Issei looks at Koneko, not even didn't say anything about the summon out shit. And Issei said, oh wow. I don't care. If you want to fight me so bad, go ahead. This is where Koneko rushes at Issei in blinding speed. Issei disappears in an instant, kicking her to the side of the head, knocking her out. Kiba appears with a sword. Issei grabs the shit, snaps it, and right now stabs it into Kiba, mostly the shattered blades. This is where Akano tries to attack him with lightning, which Issei looks at her with an unmusic carrying expression. Everyone from Sona's Parade just kind of just freezes up, seeing mostly Akano and Koneko and even Kiba getting easily defeated, just mocked by Issei. Issei is truly stronger than them entirely. This is where, well, Issei kind of just slaps the lightning back straight to Akano and decides to just say, okay, Ria's Grammary. This is where, well, Ria says, huh? Yes. This is where she's kind of like looking at Issei, and Issei kind of with mostly she's kind of having a little bit of hope, mostly for Issei to be a servant or whatever. Issei said, "How about this? What do you mean about resurrecting me into a devil?" This is where, well, she kind of pulls out these evil pieces. Issei says, "Huh? And these things are supposed to resurrect me into a devil. Okay, check which one is most fitted for me to actually resurrect." Rias decides to try by mostly kind of putting her pieces in front of him, mostly 8 pawn pieces. Nope. Knight. Nope. This is where she puts every piece in together to see if Issei will work, if compatible, and it literally just doesn't work. And mostly the pieces almost seem to be cracked in an instant by the sheer power of Issei holding back. Issei looks at her and says, "Well, what does that say to you? I am uncompatible. I am literally a fucking king. I am not some fucking toy that should be messed with, should it? This is where, well, right now Rhea seems to be completely depressed. Seeing her freaking pawn pieces, or just entirely her chess piece, just be incompatible with Issei. Mostly Issei's power is that higher than anything in the whole world. This is where Issei said, but let me see one of the pieces. This is where Issei kind of like holds it by mostly his hand, and Issei said, these pieces are supposed to be indestructible, right? This is where mostly Reyes kind of nodded slowly. Issei crushes it in his hand without a care in the world. This is where, well, Reyes right now, her eyes widen in just pure shock and disbelief of Issei's power. Because Issei's power kind of did mostly kind of just sent a little bit, and everyone felt the power of mostly Issei, which his eyes did glow a little bit brighter, and this is where he crushed him in his hand. Then he reforms it, and it became a dark piece, until he then takes out his own powers out of it to just become back demonic. Issei tosses the piece straight back to her and says, wow, can't believe that you said it was supposed to be indestructible. Nothing's indestructible against someone who's literally supposed to be the god of destruction. Now, fuck off from me. This is where Issei walks away after an annoyment kind of, well, bullcrap that he needed to be here. Of course, he opens the door and walks away. He decides to ditch the whole rest of the day of school, but yeah, and probably the whole weekend. But he doesn't really care. He would just mention his parents that mostly his girl that he actually likes in school hasn't really shown up, and they kind of send him a text saying that they won't show up later on. But yeah. But of course, this is where he did manage to kind of lie to his parents, and his parents kind of nodded. That and Issei had to go somewhere else to kind of fight against a king. Another king from a different dimension actually coming into this world. Which Issei managed to stop them before even coming into this place by going into the same dimension and where they're traveling. Issei appears and says, "Sup, you motherfuckers." This is where the king was like a giant stone golem that tries to attack Issei, but Issei right now punches his face so hard and summons out his army to stop this kind of, well, mostly, race from coming into the human world, mostly his own dimension, but yeah. But that's not the point here or there. We go into a time skip later on, mostly about a parent-teacher conference happening. Rias is quite depressed and of course just trying to think in what to do. I should also mention that Azia and Zenobia are still kind of mostly humans, which yeah, they're exorcists. Of course, Zenobia kind of believes on the God religion and other things because thanks to Kokobel was kind of revealed was kind of mostly shocking to a lot of people. And a lot of people that were there, but mostly thanks to someone ripping through Kokobel like if it was just nothing but a bug, literally is ironic because the bug literally killed him in the first place. They were just dumbfounded. Mostly Zenobia didn't actually go ask mostly the devils to reincarnate. She just doesn't know what to do with herself. She actually wants to still meet the same person, mostly the same person that appears that day. Of course, his hair was reddish and purplish, which mostly a girl with kind of orangey hair didn't know who exactly it was, but decided to try to ask Murahama and Matsui that day, but they didn't even know. This worked well. Mostly the orange hair girl decided to mostly go back to the church, but yeah. But on this specific day is pretty much a family teacher conference or whatever. Mostly's open house, and mostly the next day will be, well, a conference meeting between the three factions. Issei is, well, he doesn't really go to the school to go mostly just fuck around to kind of, well, he does go to the school. He just kind of walks around, seeing Murahama and Matsui, and their parents didn't show up, neither did mostly Issei's parents, because really Issei doesn't have that much history in this whole school. But of course, they're just kind of walking around, fucking around, and this is where, well, Matsui is kind of like throwing a right hook straight towards Issei because they're fighting, and this is where Issei managed to dodge, and Issei keeps dodging his fist attack, and Issei says, "You're doing pretty good, but you're kind of slow against my speed." What I mean is this. Issei appears right in front of him with a finger, literally pointed to his head, and Issei says, "Flick." This is where mostly Matsui flicks straight into a wall. He literally just gets smashed into a wall, while mostly Issei says, "We're done here, Matsui?" Matsui gets up and says, "No, we're not." This is where he's bleeding from his mouth, and this is where he's grinning at Issei. This is where Murahama is sighing. He then kind of makes a chemical, throws it at Matsui to kind of heal his kind of wounds. He sighs and says, "Fine. We're done. I guess we're done." This is where, well, he says, "Good to know, because I'm thinking of going home." This is where, well, Murahama and Matsui did ask him if he's going to the faction meeting. Issei says, "The what?" "The faction meeting, you know, the kind of three factions?" No. Maybe I show up, maybe. But not much. Also, I'm not going to show up there properly kind of being in dress. I might show up kind of like a farmer. Don't worry about what I mean. Here's where both of them say, "What the fuck are you meaning?" This is where, well, Issei says, "Oh, bye-bye." This is where Issei walks away, and this is where, well, both of them sighs and says, whatever. Of course, Issei fully just ditched that day just to kind of go home. But yeah. This is where his parents question if there was something special going at school. Issei says, "Not really. It was boring somewhat. But whatever. I mostly was talking to my friends, but yeah." This is where, well, they kind of mostly nodded and say that there's no school tomorrow, but yeah. This is where, well, Issei nodded and says, "But I'm still gonna go because I gotta go get something. I forgot from Matsui and Murahama. Sorry about that." This is where they nodded, and mostly the next day happens, and Issei kind of grins. He appears at the school right now wearing a black, mostly trench coat, or not trench coat, mostly a coat. That's kind of fluttering into the wind and kind of just mostly kind of, yeah, fluttering. This is where, well, he's wearing a white kind of button-up t-shirt. Well, mostly just, not a white button-up t-shirt, mostly just a white shirt, blank white shirt. This is where he has, the black coat does have a hood on, but not the point. He does have mostly called a scarf, kind of fluttering into the wind also. This is where, well, he has shades on, mostly on top of his head, and this is where, well, he's wearing black pants and black dressing shoes. But yeah. He kind of feels a lot of different energy signatures into that school. And this is where, well, Issei says, "Well, time to get my plan ready." This is where Issei smiles in a very mostly a fish kind of grin appears on his face. He then makes a shadow soldier appears, and is none other than a giant chicken until he shrinks it smaller. And this is where Issei says, "Now go, my chicken, go and go cause some trouble." Chicken goes running around the school, and this is where the chicken does meet up with some like fallen angels, devils, and mostly angels, which they are confused when they see this chicken, and they just like try to like get rid of it with a mostly magical spell until mostly the chicken dodges the attack. This is where they're confused and trying to get the chicken. Literally is making just this massive panic with all the kind of like three factions kind of trying to just grab one fucking chicken. Except for the leaders. The leaders are still not bothered by the chicken because it hasn't even reached towards them. This is where it's mostly soldiers that are just getting bothered, trying to grab the chicken in an instant, but the chicken just disappears and reappears and then just kind of pecks them in an instant. This is where, all of them are just very angry and annoyed. But yeah. But we go into mostly a, time skip mostly of the three factions kind of meeting up. Now, of course, there's the White Dragon Empress that's actually there and other people. Now, a shadow soldier is actually watching this and kind of just mostly watching this out of boredom and curiosity because he's not really near any movie, but he's going to watch and how this shit works. But yeah, Issei also can see through the shadow soldier because the shadow soldier is kind of like watching this. But yeah, he's actually next to Junko-chan, and this is where he's surprised to see Junko. But doesn't work he then has a very evilish grin on his face when he actually sees this through mostly his shadow soldier eyes. It gets rid of mostly the technique in this where, or not really get rid of it, mostly he just dispels in this where, Issei then makes another giant chicken appears. This time shrinking it to the smaller size, and this chicken is actually general level. Of course, having his magic kind of density kind of suppressed by Issei, and Issei says, "Now go, my chicken, go into that school so I can show the shit of the three factions." It might look like a petty little thing for me to do, but what are they gonna do to me anyway? It's not like their powers can even do shit to me anyway. And this is where, the Red Dragon Empress that's inside Issei kind of just sighs and says, "You're really an evil bastard, you know that?" Issei says, "I know, Aika, don't worry. I am going to have fun with this." This is where we go into a chicken running into the three faction meeting, and of course there's other factions kind of meeting there, but not the point. Odin is not there, Odin isn't really there. Mostly someone else is there. Mostly, what's it called? Yakuza's there with the meeting of the factions. But yeah, she's just there. Really doesn't really want to get on the bad side with the three factions because mostly they're seeing this alliance. But yeah, and also mostly her kind of, not daughter. Mostly her niece was actually involved with this whole three faction meeting. But yeah, so of course she kind of met up. Another person met up with another people kind of. Showed up, mostly like the Vampire Queen faction or other things, but yeah. This is where, they were confused when a chicken, a kind of blackish, purplish chicken appears on the middle of the table, which everyone looks at this chicken confused when they see it. They're like saying, "What the?" This is where Azul says, "Ha, it's a cock." This is where, mostly everyone like looks at Azul and says, "Oh, for fuck's sakes, why do you act so childish?" This is where, starts like switch off, and this is where, Michael just like says, really, Azul. This is where, Barracuda's there and just says, "Azul, what the hell?" This is where, even his daughters are kind of just sighing, like saying, "Seriously?" This is where, the chicken is just going, "Buck, buck, 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 buck." This is where the chicken's literally just walking on the table. Right now, what's it called? Everyone seems surprised, mostly the people who remembers the kind of shadow ant a while ago kind of sees this chicken and it seems shadowish. This is where, like a shadowish energy. Darkish energy a little bit, but yeah. This is where, Issei kind of burst through the door, or not even burst through the door. This is where, Issei says, "Oh, hey, it's my cock again. Sorry for letting that shit out, but yeah." This is where, Ansel started dying while everyone else just had a fucking sigh of, what the fuck? Ansel says he couldn't resist on how Issei just mentioned that. He just like walked through the door without a care in the world, and he decides to grab the chicken and says, "Sorry about letting out my cock." Which mostly, Ansel just couldn't just stop dying, but yeah. So, mostly everyone else just like, "Seriously, really? Really? Why are you people so childish?" This work mostly Junko realized, wait, who exactly it is. It's none other than Issei, and Issei just showed up just to grab this damn chicken off the table. Issei said, "Other than that, bye. Good luck with the freaking meeting," or whatever bullcrap. Other than that, I'm leaving. This is where, well, mostly, what's it called? Search like six. Wait. How the hell did you even get in here? There was a magical barrier around here. Huh? There was? Uh, this chicken did it all. This is where, well, we'll see. Search like I think I didn't say the other word. How do you mean a chicken did it all? Well, this chicken's powerful. You know, I can just summon powerful creatures, and this chicken was the most powerful creature out of everything I could summon. This is where, well, Serge X and everyone else just switch up, except for Alzo, who says, "You can't be serious. A fucking chicken is the most strongest thing out of your army. Well, not mostly out of your army, mostly out of your summonings. Yeah, look. This is where he says, Mr. Mr. C. This is where he calls the chicken, and this is where everyone says, what does the C stands for? Everyone kind of questions. Alzo actually kind of raises up his hand and kind of questions what the C means. This is where, well, he says it stands for chicken. This is where, well, everyone swept up and says, oh, thank fucking goodness, it's not the other word. This is where I says, oh, I thought you were going to say the other word. He says, pervert. This is where, well, right now, this says, really? Says the one who walks in here, never mind. Issei says, okay, Mr. Chicken, show out your power. This is where the chicken nodded. And this is where, well, Issei released a little bit of the power from the chicken. This is where the power of the chicken flutters throughout the whole room, and everyone sweat-drops at mostly the power of the chicken. This is where Issei says, good chicken. This is where Issei pats the chicken in the head, and everyone just like sweat-drops and saying, what the fuck? Truly, this chicken is that powerful. What the hell? Azo was even surprised. This is where, well, someone with kind of whitish hair kind of had a kind of bloodthirsty grin on her face just to fight the chicken. This is where, well, she says, then let me fight that damn chicken. This is where, well, mostly she screams out at mostly Issei and even the chicken. This is where, well, Issei says, don't you mean the other word? What do you mean? You want me to say, let me fight that? This is where her face becomes a little bit red until mostly what Issei's kind of implying. This is where, well, she looks away, and this is where Atsu's dying in laughter. He can't stop just dying. The fact this kid is just a smart genius at the same time and an asshole half the time. But yeah. Issei say, but other than that, this is where, well, Issei said, let's go, chicken. This is where, well, the chicken understood and kind of just landed on Issei's head while Issei's walking away. This is where, well, everyone's kind of switch on, but this is where, well, mostly Azo says, oh god, hey kid, what's your name? This is where, well, Issei looks back at mostly, what's it called, Azo, and this is where Issei says, what's my name? Ashbourne. This is where, well, Issei says, the name's Ashbourne. Ashbourne, yeah, that's basically my name. This is where, well, Azo says, Ashbourne, what an interesting name. This is where Juka says, no, his name is literally Issei Hyodo. This is where Issei says, oh, well, you can call me that, princess. I really do not mind being called by a beautiful lady like you. What's it called? Mostly Issei. Don't you like that name a lot better, Junko-chan? This is where, well, Junko's face becomes red and looks away and just decides to put her head down because she's right now embarrassed. This is where her sister with blackish hair kind of just switched up at mostly Junko, but then decided to have such a teaseful kind of grin on her face. This is where, well, mostly Azo is dying at the fact that seeing his daughter literally blush in an instant faster than anything just kind of surprises him. This is where, well, mostly Azo says, okay, what is your true name? Is it Issei, Haidu, or Ashbourne? Issei say, which one do you think sounds more epic? This is where, well, mostly Azo says, well, I will say Ashbourne. This is where, well, Junko says, no, your name is just going to keep Issei. I don't care. This is where her face is all red when she said it. Actually kind of annoyed of how Issei is kind of like trying to trick everyone saying that his name is basically Ashbourne. But this is where, well, Issei sighs and says, yeah, I guess I can just keep as Issei Haidu. Not the point. Yeah, my name is Issei Haidu, and I am just a regular human. Nothing but regular. This is where, well, everyone switched off to saying, yeah, regular human, bullcrap, he seems to be a mage. Issei says, yep, just a mage. This is where, well, before anything else happens, this is where, well, a kind of like time stop barrier appears right now, freezing everyone up, except for those who are powerful. And this is where, well, it kind of noticed that Issei wasn't powerful, well, mostly not powerful, mostly everyone kind of freezes up, except for the leaders, and except for those who kind of were also exception to resist this time stop. And this is where, well, mostly it's none other than Rios' kind of bishop being Gasper, and this is where Rios said, Gasper! This is where, well, because she was actually not frozen, thanks to the fact that mostly next to her was mostly her older brother, but yeah. This is where, well, she was kind of wondering, everyone's frozen, except for Issei. Issei literally kind of broke through the frozen and says, what the fuck happened? This is where Issei says, huh, you said normal human, regular normal human, and yet you managed to resist being stopped time. Issei says, well, this is what... Well, I'm gonna have to leave it off here, but I'm gonna have to go because, yeah, bye, see you, and yeah. Sorry for leaving it off at such a cliffhanger, but bye.